Hello over there! We're just here in Finland, chilling out. It's really nice. We're doing the winter survival course brought to you by Ordeal.
Yo, you also fell in the water!
Yeah, who put that hole there, dude?
This year's Finnish brutality was organized in February, and as you may know, February gets pretty damn cold in the north.
Oh, this is hell on earth.
So Ordeal was kind enough to organize a winter survival training for us guntubers, so we don't die during the competition. First, we figure out how to move on skis. Then we learn how to start a fire.
Fucking shit.
And at the end, we try to survive a plunge into cold, icy water.
This is the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm breaking the ice with my vagina!
So in Finland, you don't just zero your rifles, but also your skis, you see? He's zeroing his skis. So, we're here, Finland. It's a centimeter of snow, so the only way to go around is by skis. Or you can walk like other people. Oh no no! Oh. Fuck me. Again.
I'm fine, I think.
Stop sliding!
You're sliding me!
Whew. Okay, so the first part was getting us accustomed to these skis. These are a bit specific for Finland. They have the universal bindings, so you can use different kind of boots with them. They're very fast to unclip, and then you can just do your own stuff. Now, there are also a couple of differences from normal running skis. These are usually longer and a bit bigger, because the issue with Finland is that they get a lot of deep snow that's very soft, and normal snowshoes and normal skis will just sink in. Now, what really sucks is that this is the only week where there is barely any snow in Finland. Usually it would be full of snow. So we're practicing on this very compact, almost frozen ground. It's not ideal, but at least, you know, we can prepare for the brutality, because at least one of the stages will involve skis. Shooting on skis is not that hard as long as you keep your balance. If you need extra support, the fastest way is to grab both of your skiing poles in one hand, stick them in the snow, and use your hand and poles to support your rifle. This looks kinda out of balance, but it's actually a very stable shooting position. For an even more stable position, you will need to take some extra time to get the ski poles in the X formation, stick them in the snow, and then use that as a kind of makeshift bipod. That way you can stabilize the rifle very securely. If this still isn't enough, you can go into a kneeling position, which is a bit more complicated than without skis. The training conditions here are not ideal, but just imagine that there's a lot of snow over here. So when I go into a kneeling position, I have to rest my knee on a ski. Otherwise, if this was deep snow, I would sink in or go out of balance. I'm using a Desertec Wolverine. Bullpup rifles have many advantages, but in this case, a shorter barrel and a shorter overall length can actually work against me. What I'm afraid of is muzzle sweeping my hand while trying to get into the shooting position, so I have to be extra careful not to get DQ'd.
How do you do that?
Now, if we're talking about deep Finnish snow, then there is a special technique that we have to use to go prone. Otherwise, you would just sink into the snow. It'll be hard to get out, and also you will not be able to see your enemy or intended target. You would not be able to aim or shoot.
What movie was that where they had like the ski troops and they're like shooting and skiing at the same time? Did that ever happen?
No, James Bond.
James Bond, yeah. Did anyone ever do that?
It was a movie, but
Yeah.
it was a Finnish movie, so it
Oh.
was kind of legit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that.
Starting the fire seems relatively easy, especially in these ideal conditions that we had, with the dry wood, fresh fire starter, and no wind. Also, the temperatures were kind of normal, because we have to know that when it goes under minus 20 degrees, it's sometimes really hard to start a fire even with a lighter.
Be careful with the knife. Don't cut yourself, it's really sharp.
2 seconds later.
They let him grab a knife.
No, I was doing the fire stick with the knife, and then my finger kind of slipped onto the blade.
The basis for our fire was birch wood. Birch trees are very common in Finland, and what we had lying around was dried up birch logs that we could process in smaller chunks and use to start a fire. We start with the base. We need to put a couple of logs to build a platform on which the fire will burn. Now, this is an important step because if you're building your fire on snow or icy ground, when the fire starts going, it will melt the ice and extinguish the fire. Now, when we have the base, we start to process the logs. To properly build a fire, we need thick, medium, and thin pieces of wood that will catch a flame, build up, and sustain a nice fire. We will also need a couple of feather sticks. So these are just normal sticks that we take a sharp knife and start to slowly shave very thin pieces, one after another. And if you do it right, it becomes like a feather. But if you do it wrong, well, it looks kind of like this.
But I wasn't wrong about the inside outside, right? Okay. I was like, I thought I was doing that right.
Now this is the part that feels like cheating. You take some birch bark, you use the sharp blade of your knife to gently scrape the outside part of the bark, not going too deep, and what you get are these fine, very thin pieces of what almost looks like paper. This is a perfect fire starter. When you hit it with enough sparks, or for example if you want to light it with a lighter, it will immediately catch fire, and since birch bark is rich in resin, the fire will continue burning, and it will even burn if it's a little bit wet or if it's windy outside. To me, it looks very persistent, almost like burning plastic. A proper fire steel technique is also very important. I personally know a lot of different methods, but I quickly learned that when you're wet and cold, you lose dexterity and you have to revert to the most basic, secure way of doing it. First, get your tinder bundle on a stable, dry position. We used a flat log or a dry piece of bark. Secondly, get a good grip on the fire steel and rest the end of it securely on your base. And thirdly, use the sharp spine of your knife to create sparks. Use the part closer to the handle, because that way you can exert more force and have more control over the action. Use a lot of force and do slow, controlled scraping. At first, you may not get any sparks, but that's not an issue. First, you are scraping the material down, and you exert more and more force, but do it slowly and controllably. And then on a third or fourth stroke, when it sparks, it will ignite all of the other material in your tinder bundle and hopefully create a very nice flame. Now, everyone gets super excited when they see flame, but the job is not over yet. You need to cultivate that flame, and if you don't have a good feather stick or some material to transfer that fire and build it up, this is the moment where a lot of people fail.
We make fire.
Good teamwork.
Now drink.
Wanna have Riz like James Reeves? Well, that's impossible. But you can get the next best thing. Get 20% off on all Vorosteleka gear by using the code 20PT25. This is a one-time offer and only valid until the end of April. As you know, Vorosteleka usually doesn't do any sales, so if you want to buy something, this is your chance.
Claudia, what are you cooking?
Meth. Do you want some? Meth?
The Polish meth.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's crystal clear.
Oh, very good, very good. Breaking Bad taught me that.
See?
What are you doing?
Покажеш ми на камера.
Sam vam moja umazan. This one, vidim. I see your hands.
Blackface.
Oh, is this blackface? We're getting demonetized. Hello, I'm from...
Now, of course, if this was a real life situation, you would have to get out of the icy water and then do all of this from the start, from nothing.
Maybe you would. I'd plan to do this before I fall in water. Every time I come to a lake, I take 15 minutes and prepare this before I go out on the lake.
Meanwhile,
You don't like the weather?
This is hell on earth. This is fucking. I was in the water. I was on the goddamn beach yesterday.
You can also go in the water here, look.
No.
They have a special-
You
see the area?
I see that. No,
Look, the guy is going in now.
Yeah,
You see?
yeah. Oh my fucking god.
You're doing that next.
No, I'm certainly not. No, I'm certainly not. I assure you.
Maximum Warrior,
That's right. 2007.
who has now been
That's right.
defeated by moistness.
He came prepared for the temperatures.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way,
I don't have this shit. Why ever would I have this shit?
You're currently standing on a lake shore in Finland in the snow, wondering when would I possibly ever need something warm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did this because I made a promise that I would be here, and here I am. Other than that, never going to happen again. Ever, for the rest of my life.
So you know part of the match is this, right?
Oh, well, this is
you will
where
be going in the water.
Oh, okay, well, that's where I get DQ'd then. That's where I get DQ'd. So I'm not worried about it. I don't have a record to keep or a streak. So, just, Ian, I will support you.
The ice plunge seems deceivingly simple. You fall in, you get out, you change clothes and warm up.
Yes, fire.
Now the reality is that when you fall into this icy water, you get a shock response.
Okay, wait. We just have to make sure he's calm. So, you're CEO of Varusteleka?
Yes, I am.
Is that a good job?
Fairly.
Fairly good, okay. I can see he's calm now. So, yeah, you can come up.
The trick here is try to stay calm and use a proper technique to get out. We try to do one big lunge out of the water and by kicking, trying to get as far on the ice as possible. We also use the sharp parts of our ski poles as ice sheaves to kind of help us grab the ice and pull ourselves forward. We were lucky as the ice was quite thick in this area, but in a case that the ice is thin, it will start to break under you. So you have to lie as flat as possible on the ice, and even when you come out of the hole, you try to slide yourself further away from the hole where possibly the ice is thicker.
On one shoulder, on left shoulder. Okay, what's your name?
Ian McCollum,
What's the best French rifle?
M27 Lebel. You don't even know what that is. It's right.
Fuck, I thought my tail was just fat. It's not that.
Another hand forward. Yeah.
I'm breaking ice with my vagina.
When out of the water, you have to be quick. First, get out of the wet, cold clothing, put dry clothes on and start exercising. Running is usually the best. Also, as in the military, we've done this drill in buddy pairs. You have your buddy that holds the rope when you're going into the water. He makes sure that when you come up, you're responsive and that you immediately start to change clothing.
Did you step? Oh! He stepped on my...
Oh, this is
on my fire, yes!
During this time, your buddy will supervise you and ask you questions about your fingers, toes, arms, legs, essentially checking if anything is going numb.
Oh, I didn't take... Fuck! You see, I fucked up. Why didn't you remind me?
Bitch, you don't feel like you're wet on your balls. Like, what the fuck?
Now it's time for the advertisements.
If you do not have the means to start a fire, running will actually keep you alive. It hurts, it sucks, but it will warm you up over time. Now, if you did this part properly, starting the fire should not be an issue because you're warm enough to at least have some dexterity. Now, if running and exercising is not effective fast enough, there are other ways.
So my feet are still numb, so now I have to get them warm by pressing them against somebody's stomach.
Yay! Kinda awkward. Oh, that's not that bad.
I can't feel them at all.
Really?
He ate kebab, I can feel it.
This is a weird sex technique. This is called impregnating him with feet. You can also say that your feet are cold and you put it under tits. Here in the pocket. You have tit pockets. Oh, she's okay, look!
So I've actually been working my endurance up in a cold pool, cold plunge, specifically in preparation for this. And I got to 7 degrees Celsius for 3 minutes. This is like 2 degrees Celsius, but only for 1 minute. So honestly, upper body, it feels good. I knew it'd be fun, that was fun. Yeah, looking forward to doing it in the match now.
I know that this winter survival training was a bit toned down for us guntubers, but I still learned a lot. I'm not new to survival training, but just the winter conditions made it different and very specific. The biggest value for me were small things, some techniques that are a bit different, adapted to this weather, but make a big difference. And also mindset. Now, I'm much more confident in my abilities and skills to survive in this harsh environment.
No, wrap his head.
I'm not kidding, like it's not a joke. I have a lot of fat and it helps in these conditions. That bod, it's a, what is it?
A survival technique, apparently.
Peak performance, yeah. I'll do a couple of runs. My thumb.
Bye-bye.